Coach, welcome. We'll get to you in 1 second. CJ Brown, Bryson, Canty, have all of you now. Gentlemen, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us here. We're looking forward to certainly the new Ivy League season. As I mentioned in the beginning, I have the great good fortune to provide the color commentary for ESPN for the 6 games that we do on the ESPN linear network, and we're certainly looking forward to the opportunity to see the Columbia team playing here. So, Coach Poppe, I'm going to start with you and ask you, as we're asking each of the head coaches, just to give us your thoughts. We've described as a sort of state of the program address. Just give you some of your thoughts leading into this season, if you would.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind of excitement, obviously, being back here where my dad and brother played. And, it was a little different transition than my previous one at Union, knowing that I know this place extremely well. And some of the faces haven't changed. Peter Pilling came in as athletic director. When I came in as assistant with Coach Bagnoli. So it was great to be able to work with him again. And Jess DiPaolo, who's part of our successor well-being team. And even our strength staff and support staff, a lot of continuity here as much as there's been change. So we're really excited about how we built this thing in the offseason with Coach Lasanti taking the reins as the head strength coach here. He did a tremendous job with these guys all winter long and leading into spring. And it's been fun working with these guys that some of them I recruited, right, during my previous, stint at the other place in the Ivy League I worked at. And it's really been a lot of fun. So we're excited to turn this thing, into something successful off of last year, which was disappointing with so many experienced players. And a lot of those same faces are back. And so I think offensively, defensively, special teams, you've got multiple significant contributors coming back with 11 guys on offense that started the game, 11 guys on defense that started the game, and all three main, or four main specialists, punter, kicker, long snapper, and returner, all back. So I think this is a reason to be excited as a new staff coming in, knowing that we got guys that have played significant minutes.
You mentioned that there is continuity. You've been at Columbia before, so it was a familiar place for you. And part of, I'm sure, the draw for them to say, come back here and coach was because of that familiarity. So even though there's constants here, whenever a new head coach comes in, there's going to be changes. So give us an idea of when you're coming in, what were you looking at in terms of kind of the most significant aspects where you wanted to say, okay, wonderful success before, great coaches. But now that this is my program, and here's what I'm kind of looking to do to start.
I think first thing is mentality, right? We're trying to create a mentality, and what my standard expectation with that is in terms of approach and this word of fight and how we're developing our young men into men as they enter this program and leave it. And it's really about getting through the day to make sure you finish it and say, I'm proud of myself. I don't care about the pats on the back I get, external voices and noise doesn't matter. It's about the internal and the people that are in our rooms, right, are in our practice field that are truly investing in and holding each other accountable to that standard expectation that we're all doing the best we possibly can with what we're given. And I think that's been the most important thing to me as we build this into something even greater than Coach Bagnoli and his previous staff were able to accomplish in Columbia's history. But, this isn't your dad's or my dad's Columbia anymore. This is all new, and that's because of the investment this university has made in athletics at large and football specifically. And so the culture is really the biggest thing that we've tried to instill here in this short time that we've been together. And then it's just the fundamentals. Football's a simple game, right? Catch it, throw it, run it, tackle it, block it, destruct blocks. And that's really was a big focus for us in the winter and spring.
So you're just about ready to get started with practice. You had, as you mentioned, the winter and spring to work through. So with that as your backdrop, give us your sense of what you see. Let's start with the offensive side of the ball. What you're seeing here so far as the strengths that you think the offense will have coming into the season.
I'm really excited about our offensive line. I think we're still looking for depth, but we returned 4 guys that started for us. So we'll fill in one spot. And we'll see who wins that job in camp. It's right now looks to be a senior that's going to fill that role, and Pat Colicchio, who's done a tremendous job of just improving every single day, being a senior leader that he is. And there's some other guys in the mix there. I'm really confident in that group. Obviously, our first team All-Ivy running backs coming back. You got Bryson, who we hope is feeling the best he's ever felt, who's a game changer. And then, you've got some other perimeter players. And I think everyone's looking forward to seeing who's playing quarterback for us, knowing that there's weapons, surrounding him. And it's up to us as coaches to make sure we're putting our guys in the right positions. But I'm really excited about the offensive line and the perimeter skill that we have.
How about from the defensive side of the ball? What are you seeing as the strengths coming into this season?
And, I don't see many holes in terms of, again, experience. And that's a huge thing playing defense in this league, and any defense, right? Is a communication element that has to exist on the defensive side of the football. Recognizing formations, recognizing personnel changes and plays. And so you have, two of our two captains all on the defensive side of the ball, led by CJ and Pat Pasalacqua. And I think that's a huge strength, where you've got two captains who are returning as captains. So multiple year captains coming back from a leadership perspective. And that's exciting for us as coaches, knowing that we have that available to us. And Coach Stovall, who I worked with as an assistant, I'm grateful that he decided to come back and continue to be a part of this thing, and having that true continuity with terminology on defense as well.
How about let me flip it around, and you touch base on this a bit, but I'll ask you to expand a little bit, and let's start back on the offensive side of the ball. The most important questions that you need to have answered before you open up.
Yeah, I think quarterback is one that's the biggest question in my mind in terms of who's going to be distributing the football and running the show. I think Chase Goodwin had a tremendous spring for us in his growth. I think everyone's excited about Cole Freeman coming in as a transfer. And then, AJ Simpkins had a great finish to the spring. So I think we've got three guys we can, lean on, that we're confident that if they win the job, here we go. And I think our offensive staff, led by Saitu Smith, who's very familiar with the Ivy League, he's been on multiple Ivy League staffs, and he's a former player at Harvard himself. And then Greg Skold coached here. AJ Gallagher came from Princeton. Chris Batty worked with me at Harvard. Right. And you have guys that are familiar with this league and that are going to adapt to our personnel. I think that's the most exciting thing for me as a coach, is that we've got guys who have zero ego and are going to build this thing to make sure we're doing what's most effective week to week.
And on the defensive side, and I should mention, last year, I think 10th in FCS in scoring defense. And what's, I think, been interesting covering Columbia the last few years is that defense has been solid year in and year out, and then been up in the top rankings in terms of scoring defense and other elements of the defense. That being said, what sort of questions do you need to have answered before you open up on the defensive side?
I think just depth at defensive back is one thing that we want answered this preseason. I think we return a lot of senior leadership at linebacker and D line. I think it's finding depth at defensive back. And I know Coach Stovall and Coach Cook, our defensive backs coach, are excited about some of the guys that progressed during spring, and even some newcomers that could show up in campus here on Thursday. So I think that's the biggest thing that we're looking to figure out during this preseason camp.
All right, let me bring both Bryson and CJ into the conversations. And Bryson, I'll start with you if I can. Coach mentioned, looking forward to seeing you healthy. 2 years ago, first team All Ivy, had a great season. 50 some balls caught, if I remember correctly. And then, but 3 games or so into the season last year, all of a sudden, you get hurt, and it's not what you had looked for. Let's say it that way. So my first question to you is physically, how are you feeling? Are you 100%? What are you looking forward to in terms of this new season?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having us on here. But I'm feeling great right now. I'm feeling 100%, and honestly, I'm really ready to get back out there with the team. Like, I hate being away from everybody. That's one of the hard things, especially just wanting to have like our offenses back, especially, but just overall the whole team. So I'm super excited to get back out there with the guys.
Coach was talking about one of the questions is who's going to be getting the ball to you, or what number of guys might be getting the ball to you. I haven't started practice yet, but you've had the summer now, workouts, and give me your sense of what you're seeing there in terms of talent in the possibilities for the guys who could end up being the starting quarterback once you're ready to open up the season.
Yeah, so like Coach Pop mentioned, we have three guys right now who I have faith in all of them to distribute the rock. I think the spring showcased a plethora of talents for each of them, like being able to escape the pocket, being able to complete the deep ball. So like regardless of who's back there, from what we've worked on in the spring and summer, I have a lot of faith in that ability to distribute the ball to me, but not only just me, to the other weapons that we also have on offense.
CJ, let me bring you into the conversation. I mentioned in my conversation with Coach about the fact that Columbia has really last few years established a tradition of a stingy defense, not giving up a lot of points, leading nationwide leaders in a lot of the defensive categories. Right. So you've been there a while. Give me a sense of first, why has the defense been so successful the last few years?
Yeah, like you say, I have been here for a while since my sophomore year, and I think it's a culture thing, bigger than anything else. It's how we conduct our practices every day. It's how we are locked in as a unit, from the starting nose tackle to the last string safety. Everybody's locked in, and we have consistent defensive meetings before games. We have group chats that we're active in. It's just a culture thing. We're one band, one sound. We're all locked in, and we're like a pack of lions, and we all know the objective. So it's pretty easy for us in that aspect. It's more of a family than it is a unit. So it's kind of easy to go out there and perform every week with it being like that since I've been here.
So, as a leader on the defense who's a veteran, what are you looking to when you gather up your guys and you're talking about, all right, here's what we need to do today to get better. Here's what we need to do this week to get better. What do you think you need to do to get better by the time you're ready for that first game?
I think one thing that was glaring last year is that we played good, but not good enough. We were top, whatever, but record didn't reflect a defense that won us games. And so I think just not settling for good and being great, and I think that comes with attention to detail and a lot of things, and it's things that you don't recognize until it shows up on a Saturday. It's things of wearing the same thing to lifts. It's things of, hey, everybody get off the sideline. It's things of everybody got the call of this play when we're in the first week of camp, not when we're in the eighth week against Harvard in the fourth quarter. So it starts there, and I think that's something we need to focus on going into the season, is just the attention to detail that can elevate us from not just good and top 10, but to great, especially with how our offense is looking. I think we'll definitely won't be put with our backs to the wall in a lot of games like we have been last year. So I think they'll give us a lot of opportunities to win games as well. And so I think that as long as we up the standard, there's no reason why we shouldn't be Ivy League champions.
Alex Vispoli from ESPN is joining us. Let me bring Alex into the conversation. Alex, welcome.
Thanks, Jack. Just a quick question for Coach, a couple actually. I really enjoyed watching your units at, as you said, the other place in the league that you coached at for a few years, and especially special teams and the aggressiveness that your teams brought with that. How much of that culture are you hoping to instill in your squad there? Because it's such a hidden unit of production. And then also just wanted to touch on your experience as a head coach at Union. How much do you feel like the 1 year that you had there and the success that you had prepare you for this step up here into the Ivy League?
Alex, thanks. Yeah, special teams obviously is a huge part of this game, and it's not a third, but there's a difference-making aspect to special teams for sure, right? You block a punt, and it's a 90% chance you have to win the game. So one of the first things when building a staff, I had developed a great relationship with Garrett McLaughlin, who was the special teams coordinator at University of New Hampshire, and had a great season last year leading those units and multiple years there. And he was one of the first calls I made to hire him, because I think he is a game-changing coach with how he structures things and builds things from a special team side of things. So, we're going to do everything we can to win that phase to hopefully create advantages for us. And whether that's the return game or it's the true kicking game aspects, I'm really excited what Coach McLaughlin's bringing here. And then the Union experience definitely prepared me in terms of just how to manage things. I think that was more of really running out of a moving car when I got the job at Union as opposed to Columbia, again, because of comfortability in places and having worked here previously for 3 years. And again, just this is the first football game I attended as a kid, right? Going to homecoming games and watching Marcellus Wiley, play. And even watching some earlier versions of Columbia football, that it's been an amazing thing to now lead and see it into a different era, so to speak. And that's where I think the union prepared me for the union experience prepared me for certain things, but definitely not as much of that feeling running out of a moving car.
Thanks so much. Looking forward to chatting with you a little bit later in the season.
Thank you, Alex. Look forward to it too.
Alex, thank you. Hey, Bryson, let me ask you a question. It's similar to what I asked to Coach. You've been there for a while. You've had the experience of some excellent coaching, but things change. When a new coach comes in, things are different. That doesn't mean you characterize it as better or worse. It's different. So what are your thoughts as to how things, it's just been for a short period of time now, but it's been a winter, it's been a spring and a little bit of a summer. Your thoughts, Bryson, as to how things seem to be different this season?
Yeah, with the change in the coaching staff, I feel like it was almost effective immediately that you could tell, like just the mentality of the overall team had changed. Like hopping into winter workouts as soon as the season was over, that 3-7 season fresh on our mind, like it wasn't hard to find that motivation. And like especially through the coaching staff, like they brought us together. Like everybody's united in our cause, and like we know what our goal is, and we're not really worried about like outside sources. Like Coach Pop always expresses all the time, like other people don't matter. Don't matter. It's really about us and what we have to get done. So like under them, like the team mentality, everybody's really moving as one unit right now. And we gotta hope to continue to do that so we can get our desired results.
Mm-hmm. And CJ, same question to you. Again, a veteran, you've been there for a while. Different look, different feel with the new coaching staff.
Um, So I took the spring off, so I kind of watched it from a distance in that sense, but I was always around. But I could tell the difference between when I went and talked to my teammates that were there, the rising seniors, and how they talked about workouts. It wasn't, oh man, we had 5 a.m. today. It was, oh yeah, we put in work today. It's a stark difference in the mentality behind it, and that's something I really appreciated. And I think Coach Poppe really brings an energy I find similar to Coach Stowe and how he runs things. So it's very familiar to me. And how he runs the team is just as if I was listening to Coach Stowe's brother or Coach Stowe 2.0 right there, who's our defensive coordinator. So I don't think it brings too much of a difference to the team. And Coach Pop made it a point to understand our culture and then kind of be the engine to drive the car of it, not necessarily try to get us in a whole new vehicle and have us learn the wheels of that. So I give kudos to Coach Pop for that it hasn't felt different. I still feel like family, still feels like home. All the coaches talked to him, met him. So I wouldn't say it's really been too much difference, just a mentality shift from the guys that are in there feeling it. So that's something I really appreciate and saw from a distance, but definitely felt the effects of it.
Yeah, Coach, back to you for maybe perhaps the last question. We've talked about how the sidelines will look different this year. There's some guys, Coach Bagnoli stepped down a year ago after having this illustrious career at Penn and then resurrecting. I think it's fair to say Columbia's fortunes. Coach Murphy, 30 years on the sideline and some just great success there. What are your thoughts of stepping into now these voids? Some of these legends gone, but stepping in as the head coach. You've had experience, of course, but now you're the head coach in what is clearly a legendary football league.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of wild. Someone brought it to my attention the other day. I might be one of the only people on this planet that worked for both Coach Murphy and Coach Bagnoli. And obviously, wish them both well. I see Coach Bagnoli pretty frequently, actually. He's around still, and it's great to bounce some things off him, obviously, with all his experience. And I'm excited to see when they get into the college Hall of Fame, which should be hopefully in the near future. And I think all these people still know each other, right? Coach Perry was at Williams when I was playing, and Coach Serace I had a chance to get to know just through Springfield College connections, and obviously Coach Orich, working with a close buddy of mine, played at Williams, Sean Gleason. And so Tony Reno hiring me at Harvard, it really was him, not Murph, that stood up on the table for me. And so it's great to just, I guess, compete with all these, men, right, that care about football, care about the development of student athletes in a way that it transcends football. in my opinion. And so that's what has me most excited to lead an Ivy League football program.
Well, we will be watching carefully. You guys open up against Lafayette, not an easy opening. I think preseason number 17, Saturday, September 21st. And we'll look forward to seeing you on ESPN on Friday, November 1st, when the Yale Bulldogs come to visit. So, Coach, pleasure getting a chance to chat with you. Congratulations on the job. As you know already, it's a wonderful place. CJ Bryson, congratulations to you in terms of your success and being named captains. And we'll look forward to seeing all of you during the course of this season. So thanks again for joining us. Good luck to all of you.
Jack, thank you very much.
Thank you.